What's going on, guys? I thought I would do a video a little bit on the history of the formation of 3D Muscle Journey, how it came about, and this is coming from my perspective. I mean, there's three other coaches that helped form this, help form 3D Muscle Journey, but this is my version, my story. So I'm sure there's three other versions from Alberto, Eric, and Brad that will probably have their own little twist and own style to the story. But um, for me, it started back in 2004. It was when I actually came up with 3D Muscle. Dedication, desire, discipline, and it was just something for me personally. The way I felt about training, you have to have the 3Ds, to be successful. So, for a long time, I had this vision to start something like this as far as 3D Muscle Journey, what it is today, but not so much the coaching aspect, but more of just a website that offered information and stuff like that. And but I never really knew how to go about it back then. I was not a public figure at that time, so I really didn't have any clue as to how to get that to come to fruition. So uh, what ended up happening is in 2009, coming off of I think it was, yeah, a 3-year layoff. I was pretty much retired up until that point. From 2006 to 2009, I had no interest in competing, but it wasn't until late 2008 when I started to get that itch again, and I wanted to actually compete in 2009 and make it uh, the season more about just coming into the best shape I possibly could, because up until that point it was always about trying to beat others, always trying to win pro cards, always trying to fulfill that void of like just trying to be the best. But in 2009, when I started that season, it was more about me just trying to become the best me that's possible, in whatever happens. And that's how I approached 2009, was just the approach of just get ready for bodybuilding shows, have fun, whatever happens, and don't stress on anything. And that's what I did. So in 2009, I decided to uh, start a website, which was basically just my blog. And I named, since 3D Muscle was something that was always been on my mind since 2004, and I actually had the rights to the domain name 3dmuscle.com for a long time. And and I didn't really want to use that for the website. I wanted to save that for my initial ideas. So I was like, okay, how can I what should I name this blog, this little website I'm going to start just for my personal journey? So that's how it came about. It was like, oh, it's a journey getting to a stage. So it just simply added journey to the end of 3D Muscle, and it became 3dmusclejourney.com. And so all of 2009 was just my simple blog, um, just chronicling my journey to the stage. And eventually I started adding like little articles that I would write. And in I think it was May of 2009, I decided to start the natural movement on 3D Muscle Journey. And that was just my way of getting people on the website that deserved recognition for being a natural athlete. Because I mean, if we look at mainstream bodybuilding, you got Flex magazine, you got all these big time magazines, but how many natural bodybuilders are you really seeing in those magazines? And so my thought, my vision was, let's start the natural movement. Let's give natural athletes some recognition that they deserve. So that's how I came up with the natural movement. And then um, and that was in May. So in June is when I did the NGA California, and that's when I met Eric Helms backstage. And he was a cool dude. We didn't really talk a whole lot at that show, um, but he was competed in the heavyweight class. I was in the middleweight class. So we didn't go head to head at that show or anything like that. But it was 4 weeks later. I think it was 3 or 4 weeks later at the INBF Capital City, which is now called the Muscle Mayhem, which is one of the biggest shows on the West Coast as far as natural bodybuilding. But anyway, we met again backstage, and during that show we talked a lot backstage. I mean, a lot. And I recall my after the prejudging was over, I went back with my it was my ex-wife at the time. She asked me, "Did you meet any cool people backstage?" And I was like, "Yeah, I met this guy named Eric, but the guy talks a lot." And being that I'm a conservative kind of dude, I'm kind of quiet, mellow. Um, he was just, in my opinion, talking a lot, and I didn't really know him too well. But now, I mean, knowing him now, he's a terrific dude, and I love the guy. He's basically my brother. But yeah, he just I'm more of a basic type of dude, and Eric's really a smart guy and very knowledgeable in the sport, and it just, to me, it was just like, whoa, all this is information's coming at me so quick that it was hard to absorb it all. The guy is so smart, but we clicked. We even though we're kind of uh, I want to know about our opposite personalities, but our personalities are really different, but we gelled pretty well, and so it was nice to meet someone who had such a passion for the sport as much as I did, and so yeah, and I met Alberto Nunez at that same show backstage, and although I didn't talk to him a whole lot, I talked to him a little bit, and he was a cool dude, and so yeah, that's kind of where I met Eric and Alberto, and Eric and Alberto had already been friends through the bodybuilding.com forums. That's where they met, through the bodybuilding.com forums, and they had a big following there. So they were really popular in the internet world, as far as the bodybuilding internet world. Whereas, I didn't even know what a bodybuilding.com forum was. I remember Eric asking me, "Hey Jeff, you on the forums?" I'm like, "What's a forum?" I had no clue. I mean, I was just, up until 2000. Well, kind of the story behind that is just I worked in an auto plant for 16 and a half years, so I was a very busy dude. I commuted to work back and forth 3 hours a day on the road driving. Worked anywhere from 8, 9 hours a day. Worked 6 days a week on occasion. So um, when I got home from work, I was not going to be going on the internet. I was done. I was tired, so I had no clue about what the internet world was as far as forums, and so that was kind of a funny thing. Is like I didn't have no clue, but I had this little website. Anyways, that's the only thing I knew about the bodybuilding internet world. Um, so yeah, so from there we kind of clicked and gelled, and then um, it was a little, about, let's say, a month after that July show. Um, Eric was preparing for his or the Washington show. It was we're preparing for the Washington show. It was like 3 weeks after the capital city, and Eric and I were both trying to get a pro card and trying to compete in Washington. So we met backstage again, and we talked more and more. And Alberto was there, so we talked. Alberto, myself, and Eric. We just formed this. We were starting to form a pretty good bond, and we were pretty like-minded when it comes to helping people and the love of the sport. And I think we shared a common goal, was to try to help this sport become better, and try to make it a more enjoyable sport, more balanced sport than what at least what I was used to seeing, as far as the way I would used to prepare for shows, and my approach to bodybuilding. I was very hardcore, very old school. Cutting sodium, cutting water, eating the same bland foods over again. The chicken and rice broccoli story. I've lived it. I've done it. So meeting these guys in 2009, it totally changed the way I approach the sport, and for that I'm very grateful, and for meeting them. So again, we just formed this bond doing through these bodybuilding shows backstage, and it was a little after the Washington show, um, where I for the natural movement, I started writing, not for the natural movement, but I also started writing featured athletes. So I would take an athlete, interview them, put some pictures up, videos up of them, just give them some recognition. So I went ahead and I featured Eric, and so I drove up to his house to do the photo shoot, to do the training footage, to do the interview and all that stuff, and that's when both Eric and Alberto approached the idea of, hey Jeff, we have this idea. We want to help people. We want to start coaching people. And my first thought was, being that I'm very conservative and I was very set in my ways because I had a good job, as far as at the auto plant. I was stable. I was working there a long time. I had full benefits, good pay, all that stuff. And the thought of like coaching was just like, I don't have time for that. I'm like, basically, no, I don't want to do it, because it's going to be too much for me. I'm too busy. I don't have time. It's not that I didn't want to help people. It's just I was already running the website as far as the natural movement. I was featuring people on the website, and I was enjoying what I was doing, helping people in that sense. Um, but the more I talked with them about it, and the more they expressed how much they wanted to help people and coach people and help the sport grow. Um, I eventually said, yeah, let's do it. And so that's basically how uh, it formed as far as the coaching. And then we felt like we needed um, a fourth coach. We needed someone else to bring on board that had the same values as us in helping people and really cared about the sport. And that's when uh, Eric and Alberto had competed with Brad in 2008. Competed against Brad, or Alberto did anyway, in 2008, and I guess they formed a pretty good bond. And with Brad, and I had met Brad back in 2006 actually at a small show in Chico, California, and we talked backstage, and we hung out, and I thought he was a cool dude, very nice guy, and we clicked pretty well. But you know how it is, you kind of just lose touch with people, and so it came full circle. They mentioned Brad. I said, oh yeah, I know Brad, and as a matter of fact, I ran into Brad at the NGA California in 2009. Backstage, he's like, "Hey Jeff, is that you?" And I'm like, "Holy crap, that's Brad." But anyways, so yeah, that's how it all formed. We brought Brad on board, and from there, we started really working on the site, writing articles, trying to help the sport, through our knowledge, through our experiences, writing articles and putting stuff out on the 3D Muscle Journey website, featuring more and more athletes, and then in the beginning of 2010, January 2010, we launched our first sponsored athletes, Rich Knapp and Jason Bozak. We gave them, just sponsored those two guys and gave them coaching for a full year, and basically the rest is history. So now every year, we sponsor two athletes every year because we want to give back to the sport, and here we are today, in 2013. Um, love what I'm doing. Love what we formed through this team. Love that we're still helping others by reaching out on YouTube, and we're hitting a bigger audience now. And it's just the reason I do this is because I love it. Basically, I love this sport. I love helping people. I want to give back what this sport has given me, and through my 27 years, I've gained a tremendous amount of experience, and I use that experience to help others. So all the mistakes I've made, all the successes I've had, those experiences is the way I coach people and help people, and there's no better feeling. There's no better feeling. So um, I'm very, very fortunate to have met those three guys, Alberto, Brad, and Eric, and I love every second that I'm doing 3D Muscle Journey, and I'm going to continue doing it as long as I can. That's basically my story. I'm sticking to it, and I'll talk to you guys during another video.